Hey there. Welcome back to another episode of the Collecting Keys Real Estate Investing Podcast. This is the podcast by off-market operators for off-market operators. If you are in the off-market game, or maybe you're aspiring to be in the off-market real estate game, this is the show for you. Today is a Friday episode, which means it's solo, and you have me as your host, Dan Austin. And today I want to talk about something that we have talked about off and on, up and down, backwards and forwards before on the show, which is novations. Are novations terrible? Are novations good? What do we think about novations? I've had varying opinions over the years on these, but the reason why I'm talking about these is because we have 3 going on right now. 3 novations, which is so unique to us. Like, we'll usually pop these off once in a while, but I've hated them so badly. I wish I could remember the episode, but if you scroll like 150 episodes back, like you'll find that we interviewed Eric Brewer, which is like the self-proclaimed like novation expert, which he actually does a lot of these. His whole business is built on these. I'll be honest, I thought at the time this is genius, and then afterwards I was like, I don't like this at all. I don't like the way you explain that. It kind of just makes me feel uneasy because the way a lot of people are doing novations, I think is just downright scummy and dirtbaggy. And some of the stuff he talks about, I think is scummy and dirtbaggy. So that's what we're trying to avoid when we do these novations. But we have 3. I'm going to talk about one in particular that we're getting ready to start on. But if I have time, I might talk about like the second one, because a lot of the reasoning people, it's like, why are you getting into a novation? Like, what is the benefit to the seller? Because I strongly believe you should be bringing value to the seller and not just taking advantage of an opportunity where you can essentially make a fat net listing fee or something like that. Yeah, let's dive into this. So we actually have this deal that we're going to start. And this one's interesting because it has a lot of different facets to it. So why novation on this one? So this is it's actually a manufactured home about 90 minutes from Spokane. So 90 minutes into a rural town. I don't know what the population is, but it's probably just a few thousand people, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people. So it's pretty rural compared to us here in Spokane, and not a lot of people want to go out there. So to get it for a wholesale price is pretty tough because you got to get it pretty deep for people to want to drive all the way out there. We've wholesaled some deals. We just recently wholesaled like 4 deals in the last like 8 months out there. But it's super hard. And we just know a guy that has done deals out there before and has had success. But even him, he wants them deeply discounted and is pretty nervous. So it's tough to wholesale them to people. And on this one, we didn't want to flip it because we're not set up to have a crew drive 90 minutes out there. And we have other flips going on, and it's just not something that fit our bill. So that's one of the reasons why. But it's a manufactured home. It's a 1981 manufactured home. So it's lendable. It's all that. It's a double wide, but it's on a basement. So super unique. Like, these people built a really awesome double wide home on top of this basement. It's super dated. It needs carpet. It needs paint. Kitchen probably needs some upgrading. Bathrooms need some upgrading. It's not gross and bad. It's just outdated. And the seller, they inherited the property and they live in Spokane. So they don't want to have to go back out there. Like she was kind of adamant. She's like, I don't want to have to go out there ever again. Like, I just want to be able to sign a contract with somebody and then walk away. But the price she wanted was like way too much for a wholesale price or flip price. Cause like on a good day, the ARV on this thing is $335. I think it could go to $350, but it's a manufactured home. And it's out in this rural town, and just the way the market is, it's not like it's popping off super hot to where you're like, oh, I'm super confident in 350. So 335 ends up kind of becoming our ARV. And she wanted 220. I think she wanted more than that. I think she ended up wanting like 250, but we got her down to 220 with the idea of a novation. Like, here's what we're going to do. We explained it to her. It's like, hey, here's the deal. You won't have to do anything. We're going to come in here. We're going to fix up your house and we're going to get more for it. So at the end of the day, like, cause our cash offer was maybe like, I don't know, like 190 on this thing. At the end of the day, you're going to get more money, than you would have. And you don't have to do any of the work. And she wasn't in a hurry to get the cash. The property's vacant, which makes it awesome. These are the types of deals when the property's vacant and you can go in there and do the repairs. It's the best. A lot of times people try to square peg the round hole with owner occupied property, and they don't want to do work, but it needs work. It's full of their crap. They want to get some of their crap out in stages, and it just becomes like really frictiony. So on this one, it's perfect. It's vacant. It's not a dump. It just needs like lipstick and updated. And like, as a side note, it's kind of funny. We took the interior pictures and shoved it through ChatGPT and said, hey, can you design this for like a more modern day look. And the awesome thing about it is it spit out a pretty awesome design, like a picture of the design. So it basically gave us a photo of what this house would look like. And it had like kind of like a tan LVP, white cabinets, black pools, like total flipper stuff that we would use. But it was awesome because now we could show our contractor. We're just like, here's the picture. This is what we're going for. So let's nail it. So we do have to do some work. We don't have a crew that we want to drive all the way out there. Probably need to put about $25,000 into this is my guess to get it to where we want it. Cause it's almost 1,900 square foot double wide plus a 1,900 square foot basement. So it's got a lot of square feet. The basement's not completely finished. We're not trying to finish it. We're just really trying to put lipstick on this thing and make it go back to, a more modern day look, how it used to look, which is it's super clean. It's just dated. It's 1980s. It has the same carpet from the 80s. So we're at, say, 335 ARV. I'm doing kind of the math here on my notepad while we're here. So if I make mistakes, don't kill me. But say 335 ARV. The cool thing is we walked it with the contractor and the real estate agent yesterday. So we're all on the same page of what we're going to do because we don't want to have to send a bunch of people out there and do a bunch of walkthroughs, right? Because it's an hour and a half away. So at 335, our sales cost, because we do have transfer tax here as well, and with our realtor fees and closing costs, we run those like 7%. It's probably going to be a little cheaper than that, but anyways, 93% of 335 is $311,000 minus the $25,000 we're going to put in the rehab. That's $286,000, and minus the $220,000 we promised the seller, leaves a spread of about $65,000. Now, the cool thing on this is the contractor is actually somebody that's in our scale community. They run a construction company. They also run a wholesaling and flipping business. And they were looking for another deal. And it's like, do you guys want to just go out there and do this deal for us? So they will basically contribute the labor and their time, and we're going to contribute the deal, and we're going to, help fund all like the material costs and those sorts of things, right? And so essentially on their piece, on their half, they're going to split. So say we each make 30 grand, they're going to make 30 grand on a deal that's going to take them realistically probably 2 weeks of work. And we're going to make 30 grand and not have to manage our crews because our crews are on other projects, right? So it's a great deal. We're splitting the effort, and we both have pretty low risk because there's no debt involved because the seller is obviously carrying the note because it's a novation. And the reason why I like this deal is it's not a ton of work as far as it's not a gross house that needs to be completely gutted. So like $25K is what we're going to have into this thing, which isn't terrible. It's reasonable upside when you think we're going to spend $25K to make 60 essentially as a total, which I like those numbers. And the seller is going to benefit because she's getting more money than she could have. And it's kind of a risk because she could list it, say for $250 as is. It might sit for 6 to 8 months for her or a year because it's a rural market. And if it's not looking really good, it's not going to pop off out there because you can literally go on Zillow and look at the 8 houses that are available that are still sitting there. And they're usually sitting there because they just don't look that good. So she's reducing her risk and kind of guaranteeing a dollar amount into her pocket, which is at $220,000. And like I said, she's not in a hurry. So we can take the time to fix this thing up. And she knows exactly how we're doing it, what we're doing it, what we're going to list it at. It's all above board. What I don't like is when people do novations, and we've talked to people, sellers, that had novations done by them by other competitors, and they didn't even know that's what they're going to do. They didn't understand what that even meant. I don't know why or how. I don't know if the wholesaler or whoever was working with them was trying to be kind of elusive on what they're going to do and how much they're going to make, but I think that's totally unfair, and that's not how you should approach it. We have another novation. I'm not going to do all the numbers on it, but we're going to basically we're going to get a fixed return. So this is a guy, he wants to move into a house that he's building. And he wanted to move at a certain time. He was going to be down in Arizona because he was a snowbird. So he was down enjoying sunshine while we were all up here in the north sucking in the snow. And he just got back. So we contracted with him back in December, maybe November. And he said, here's what I want. I want to know exactly how much money I am going to get on this date so that when I'm ready to make the move and I get all my ducks in a row, I can just execute it. So what we said, he has he's a contractor, so he actually did a lot of the work on his house. So the house is pretty dialed in, but it needs a little bit of work. And so we're going to bring in $3,000 to $5,000, and we're going to clean up some paint, fix some unfinished stuff that everybody has in their house, especially when you're a contractor. And we are guaranteed a $10,000 profit. and any of our construction costs are recovered. So we came up with a price where we think that we can an ARV that we think is really doable, and he has a price that he's wanting. So he's really not missing out. I mean, he's maybe missing out on like 15 to 20K tops of revenue that he's basically giving to us. So our value is that on a specific date, once he's moved out, which he's actually back in town, we're going to start on this in a week. He's going to be able to move out. We're going to go in there, get the thing staged, get it clean, get the photos taken, do all the touch-ups and list it. And he doesn't have to do anything. So now he's focused on the new build that he can keep, that he's a contractor that he's building, he can go work on, and he knows, hey, I'm going to be guaranteed at least this much. And that's great for him. Our profit's not guaranteed. We will get our costs recovered, but our profit, it's like, hey man, if it sells for less, like there's nothing we can do. We'll just get our 3 to 5K that we put into it back. But the cool thing about this one is if it sells for above what we're asking, we're going to split the upside with him 50-50. So his situation's set up perfectly. And he's going to maybe even get more, but he's guaranteed. So he knows how much he's going to get. And then for us, we're obviously incentivized to make this thing sparkle and try to get it out there and sell it for more. And we have it that I would say there's like, I don't know, a 40% chance that we sell it above asking and we make more than our 10 grand. But I like it. And it's something to think about. It's a reasonable amount of money for us to make on like a wholesale deal, which would be 10 grand. You got to do a little bit of extra effort to get it, but you're locking that in. Here's my guaranteed profit above a certain amount. And that's where these novations can be super helpful. It's like, what value can we bring to the seller and what value are we getting out of it? Some of these guys, they want to make a selfishly high amount of money when they're doing these novations and they're not really bringing anything. I mentioned like Eric Brewer earlier. It's like a lot of the stuff, it's like he wants to go into list ready. Like he believes in you do no work to the house. He wants to go into a list ready house and he basically wants to make a big chunk of money just by listing it with his realtor. And then he signs the documents like that. To me, like, no, dude, like don't do that. Like, why would you give 30 grand, 40, 50, 60 grand away for somebody else to talk to a real estate agent and sign documents on your behalf? I would not do that. That's a bad trade of value in my opinion. So, lastly, I'll just wrap up with this, like why novations and what's going on. And so I'll say right now we've got novations and wholesales going on quite a bit. And it's because we're in a competitive environment like many of you are. We're running across these deals that there is money to be made. We just have to figure out what is helpful to the seller. When we already know it's like, this is not going to be a wholesale deal. It doesn't make sense. So why beat the seller up and try to like pull them down to a wholesale price? And instead say, how can I maximize your revenue to you as a seller, while also serving you so that I can earn some money? And that's really what we're trying to do here. And every situation is different. But when you're in a competitive environment and you see an opportunity to serve somebody, do it. And usually there's 10, 15, 20 grand to be made on that. And you pluck a couple of those away in a hard month, and that becomes your baseline of deals. And then you're going to get a few low hanging fruit, a couple of wholesale deals, maybe a flip here and there. And that's like how you get from 0 deals in a month to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 is you have these different tools in your toolbox that you can pull out. And I always say that because it's true. Just use it sparingly and use it ethically. That's the line I'm going to use. The novation, probably sparingly, because not every deal is a novation or should be a novation, and use it ethically. I will leave it with that. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have questions like on the nuances of how to do novations, the paperwork associated with it, hit me up. Instagram is the best way to do that, at InvestorManDan. I'm also on Facebook, Dan Austin. Just you can find me there. You'll find my face and my shiny bald head. So yeah, hit me up if you got questions. I'm happy to share my knowledge on these. And other than that, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll catch you guys all next week. See ya.